your week is going well and that you're keeping safe as much as possible. So today I just wanted to talk about success and what that may mean to you. So what I'm focusing on today is success in terms of a mindset and outlook in life, and how you approach it in order to help you to persevere through, regardless of what's going on with the external factors. A case in example is what's going on currently, where we've been shaken up to like the root core in terms of COVID. So environmental, economically, financially, socially, you name it. And also talking a little bit about how success is also something that may be misinterpreted at times to mean wealth, rather than what you think and believe internally about your own goals and life pursuits. So hello there, and my name is Chiko. If we're connecting for the very first time, thanks for being here. And if you're a return viewer, really appreciate you being here as well. And do share out this video, as well as if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, which is at the corner, and notification, so that you can be alerted to any videos that I may have as well. This past week, going on into the topic that I wanted to discuss, before I forget, I do have links at every blog post that I write, and I'll leave my blog post link at the bottom of this video, where you will find educational resources based on things that I've learned myself and information useful about creative entrepreneurship, online business, education, as well as mindset matters, because I believe mindset is everything. If we don't have that positive outlooking mindset, it affects your outlook in life, and it's also linking to the success on what you want to achieve. So I'm going to be sharing with you tips. I've got 6 tips at the end, and these are tips that I was listening to a podcast and video this week on Brian Tracy, and some of those tips that I'm going to leave towards the end, so you want to stay to the end to hear them. And it's my own interpretation, as well as key takeaways about what success looks like and what it means. So for you, you may be somebody who is going through like a transition, a career transition. You're thinking more, reevaluating your life, your personal life circumstance, as well as your professional life. Or you might be a creative entrepreneur that is looking to maximize on the opportunity about like working online and how to establish and grow your business. You're in the right place. What I'll focus on first of all is my lessons learned about what success means. So if I mentioned before, success is a mindset matter. A mindset matter in terms of how you feel and think about it, and also external influences of what you have heard. You can also flip it around, especially if you struggle mentally in terms of feeling unfulfilled and always persevering or pushing through because of social pressures, economical pressures, financial pressures, and make it more of a balanced outlook where you feel more fulfilled internally rather than pressured by external factors. And those external factors can also be family, friends, social media, external influences, political, that may distort your outlook a little bit and put more pressure. So it's about alleviating that pressure and having more realistic goals in terms of connecting more internally with getting to a balance where you feel more at ease, more at peace, and you're focused on your life vision and purpose. And I like to talk about life vision and purpose because that's what it all boils back to. It all boils back to, and even now, what COVID is showing us is that it's to focus more on things that are valuable and meaningful. It's showing us that materialistic and financial things that we acquire are not as valuable as most of us would have thought, and to focus more on necessity. So success, that's why it goes back to the mindset. How you think, feel, and interpret it as well, in personal, the internal and external, and you're feeling overwhelmed, there are ways to manage that as well, and to move beyond the friction of being impacted or so connected to outward influences. So I'll give you an example. 3 months ago, we were all under lockdown. Okay, most of us anyway, globally. And every day there was news, there was information about the drastic changes, the nightmares about COVID. Consuming that, you can start to believe that, oh my goodness, things are being taken away, my success levels are being impacted, or I won't be able to succeed in life. Now you can flip the script, and that's what I'll talk about a little bit more as I go through like the tips as well, to have a more measured outlook so that you're not drawn in. Because I'll be quite honest, it can be overwhelming, especially if you're listening to news every single day. And in the beginning, it makes sense because we weren't aware of what the impact of COVID was and how it was going to impact us economically, financially, and socially. So obviously anxiety levels would have been more heightened. But after we became aware, there's a point where you now have the option to move beyond that and to become detached and not so ingrained and connected to the point of what's happening externally, to the point that it impedes on your outlook in life. So it's about being able to obtain and still persevere through with an optimistic outlook, not forgetting that about what is happening, but it's being more in tune with who you are internally, so that you can be connected to your life vision going forward, your goals, your life pursuits, and make those decisions which you're going to feel more fulfilled about. This is now the opportunity to do that. Okay, so let's see if I've missed anything else. So it's also about developing an abundance, wealth, and positive outlooking mindset. So you might say to me, it's crazy because at the moment everybody is potentially at risk, or you're at risk of losing your job. How can you think of abundance, wealth, and other things, a positive outlook, when you are not in that place to be thinking about that? And I'll say that's a very valid point. It's scary, it's frightening. At the same time, there's something about having a balanced outlook. So abundance mindset, wealth mindset is still hanging to, what it means basically is about hanging on to hope and an optimistic outlook. It's not about torturing yourself about, oh my goodness, you didn't get this financial outcome, you didn't get this success goal. It's more about your mindset and managing your well-being so that you're able to still hold on to something that will give you meaning in life, that will give you faith and hope to focus on your life vision. So your life vision does not always have to be something that is materialistic or tied to materialistic things or money. There are other ways or other measures you can put in place. So like for instance, if you experience like financial crisis or you're in debt, there's ways to mitigate risk. So for instance, talking to your creditors, talking to your bank, sending out written communication so that your anxiety levels are measured and balanced and you have that sorted. In the middle, there might be that you're looking constantly for like online jobs because maybe potentially your job is at risk. Then there's another level. The other level is about, okay, these other factors are happening in my life. These are factors that are sometimes beyond what I can actually manage or control. What I have within my remit is my life vision. Okay, so it's the good or the positive outcome is to still have that fuel, something that will drive you to keep persevering through despite all the other things, the odds that are fighting against you and you have no control with. When you do that, when you focus on this end thing, which is at the top, then you become more like willful, purposeful in life. You feel more empowered to keep persevering through and going forward, to not be so distracted and influenced by factors such as like negative news, negative things that are happening. Like you might get like numerous rejections through jobs because it's become so competitive. Your life vision, your success levels become your focus because you know that that's your fuel to keep you going every day. So you will create other positive measures. You will focus, for instance, on education, learning, like something that is already pre-existing, finding ways to monetize on that. have a small window where you focus like on positive outcomes, creating something that is meaningful, that you can share and valuable in the beginning to the world. And it potentially might be for free because you want to raise the awareness, or it could be obtaining like new education, free education online, so that at least you have something else that is positive and more balanced to focus on, aside from other things that are impeding on you. Because ultimately what always wins is this. What always wins and brings you to happiness is your life vision, your life purpose, and your goals in life. These other factors like your job, we know that can come and go. We also know that the financial hardship, it's something that is not permanent. It'll come and go. The only constant is you in the middle that needs to keep going and will always be there, no matter what is going on, that is going on around you. That's why it's essential to keep a hold of this, because ultimately, when you gain a level of balance where you're feeling fulfilled internally, gratitude, happiness, regardless of what's going on here, you always feel more empowered and gain more of a better outlook in life to be able to continue and to be able to gain better opportunities which fulfill your needs. No matter how long it takes, you will always hold on to that. The negative aspects of life, it may be something like you hate and despise your job, but you still go you still go to your job because it's an economic or financial thing that you need, or social, that also contributes to your social well-being. You need that, but it's not a permanent, because it will come and go. Okay, so I hope this is all making sense. So, and then move on to the 6 tips that I learned. I was going to say that I acquired. No, I didn't acquire. I learned, and these are my key takeaways from Brian Tracy. I'll leave a link. He also has like a 7-day challenge where you can jump on that challenge and learn tips. Let me just look at the title. It's on my blog post, which is in draft format. If you're familiar with me, I do videos and I do a blog post, written blog post, and a video one. And you will find the link below. So the challenge is called 7-Day Online Challenge. Change your thinking, change your life. When I started my creative entrepreneurship journey, I joined 21-day challenges, 30-day challenges, which helped me move beyond the employee mindset into more of a creative entrepreneurship mindset, or an entrepreneurial mindset, because that is where I visualize myself performing at my best version, because all I dreamt about was having the freedom of being away from like the confines of the 9 to 5. And if you know my history very well, you will know that I was pushed out before my 3-year exit strategy for my 9 to 5 because I developed a chronic pain condition known as fibromyalgia. So lockdown is not new to me. Navigating the world when there's a crisis is not new to me. The newness has been being inside and not having the choice to go to work in cafes. But I had to step into a different mindset in order to be able to feel confident enough in fulfilling my vision, my life vision and goals and purpose, in terms of procrastinating. So that's the journey that I've been on. So let's move on to these tips. I'll just go through them, list them first. So there's 6. They're called mental visualization, power of suggestion and influence, laws of attraction, develop success habits, and then learn from proven systems. I think I've gone through every one of them. Mental visualization. Mental visualization is more about, I'm looking at my laptop because sometimes I need to be like on point. Not to be distracted. So if I'm looking down, that's the reason why. So mental visualization is more about focusing on routinely visualizing every day in stepping into your best self. Okay, all of us, we have a vision, we have some form of like fuel that drives us, but some of us get distracted because of adulthood, because we have to pay bills. But there's something you always visualize in your mind, your best version and who you want to become, although like social and economic factors may influence that. So mental visualization is about stepping into that daily routine practice over a prolonged period beyond 21 days. Then it becomes a habit where you're thinking about stepping into success, thinking, living and breathing it. not about money, but it's more about how you feel, think about yourself as well. Then the power of suggestion and influence links to the mental visualization. And before I move on, it's also about acting and believing that you can do, you can achieving it, and taking small measurable goals to enable you to achieve the bigger goals, whether it might be at the end of the year. Okay, so the power of suggestion, which is number 2, is more about feeding your mind with positive information. The more you feed your mind with negative information, such as news and people you may associate yourself with who have like a negative outlook in life, so everything is bad, everything is like the end of the world, the likelihood is that you would draw on that. It's measuring out, is the positive or negative going to bring you a great outcome? And if it's not, then you have the option to choose the positive outlook. Positive outlook does not mean you're happy all the time, but it's more focusing about solutions which will help you to persevere through and to continue achieving your goals to the point that when it's time, you're ready to step into the best, your best version that you've been dreaming, thinking about every single day. And it's also about having patience to realize that not everything happens in overnight. It takes time. And most successful people you will hear from, they will say to you that it took them 10 years to get to where they are. Now, never think that it's too late. It's never too late, no matter how old you are. It's about the daily actions you take every day to start building on intently in that fulfillment about happiness. Happiness, abundance, fulfillment is what will destroy everything else that is negative and will make you feel more empowered, to feel grateful for what you already have and to build on top of that. So regardless of whether you acquire more wealth, there's nothing wrong with acquiring more wealth, because then you can give back and you can contribute to positive outcomes and good causes. You won't feel you won't change personality wise. It won't impact you as much, because you will always, because even if you acquire money and you get it, there's a lot of people who still feel unhappy. It's about building your internal mechanism so that you have a measured outlook throughout, regardless of wealth and without wealth. Don't know why I'm doing this, but I hope that makes sense. So I've talked about laws of attractions, which was number 2. Number 3, develop successful habits, which also links to the top ones. The mental mindset, power of suggestion, and then developing successful habits is doing everything in repetition. When you do everything in repetition, it becomes a habit, like I mentioned before. So my battery is saying it's low. I knew this was going to happen. So stepping into who you look, into how you feel, look like in your visualization, it's similar to the one I talked about. And then implementing it, taking it a step further and putting it into practice. Going to places, for instance, if you like to live in a mansion, driving past it, seeing it, visualizing it makes it more realistic. And I talk about this more step by step in my course, and the link will be in my blog post, and it's also underneath this video as well. Then learn from proven steps and successful people. Most helpful thing you ever do in life, and that's something that I've taken on as well. When I was going through like my exit strategy, as I was implementing steps, so a 3-year exit strategy for my career, I knew that was the last job that I wanted to ever step into, and then not apply for future jobs, because I was creating a plan to be a creative entrepreneur or an entrepreneur. Because when I went into 9 to 5, I always knew that that was not me. That was not going to be me for life. I always knew that I needed to be out there, although I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I needed more freedom in order to have a creative space to help people. So that's what I always visualized. Okay, so in terms of proven systems, I jumped into, when I became ill, I was fortunate to jump into an opportunity which then helped me through proven systems and mentors. So you also need mentors and coaches who are already experienced or influential people, successful people. Model them in terms of your vision, your life purpose, and your core values. Not just anybody, but somebody who is aligned with your beliefs, your core values. Then that will make it easier for you to persevere and to achieve. Rather than going on a solo journey, you want to be going through a journey where somebody has already been there, and then they can tell you what their lessons learned are and what the outcomes they have achieved. That is how you shorten the length of how to get there. It's not that it's going to be easy, but it just makes it easier to navigate through. So I'm going to leave you with Brian Tracy's quotes. Okay, success starts from within. Self-esteem requires self-discipline. So that's from Brian Tracy. And I hope everything that I've talked about has helped a little bit. And if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them below. If you're struggling with your creative entrepreneurship journey, do also feel free to contact me on Instagram. Send me a PM, a private message with any questions that you may have. I'm happy to answer them as well. Okay, so I talked about the 6 tips: mental visualization, power of suggestion and influence, laws of attraction, develop successful habits, and then learn from proven systems and successful people. I might be missing one more tip, but I hope all of those have been useful. And you can also find learning opportunities in terms of self-development online, which are free resources like edX. YouTube is the best platform to learn for free as well. Allison courses, which I've taken in the past. I don't know what else they have. They have that's new. Udemy, that's where I have my online course. But there's also other numerous courses where you can find those key information that is useful. But those ones are paid, but they're not as hefty of a price. Education is always worth it to invest in, especially when it comes to overcoming mindset challenges. And don't forget about joining challenges as well. And those challenges, you can find them on Facebook, especially as we're more indoors, groups that align with your core values, or you join up with like-minded people and you challenge yourself. Working in partnership with other people helps you to overcome certain mindset challenges, limiting beliefs. My voice is becoming hoarse for some reason. Who knows why? So I'm going to end it here. And thank you for connecting. Ciao for now. Until next time, hit that subscribe button below and notification. And adios from me.